The man charged in the child abuse death of a 2-year-old in Norfolk has a lengthy history with the court system. John Tucker Hardy served time in prison and was on probation in a prior child abuse case involving his own son.
Now he is accused of scalding his girlfriend's daughter. Her injuries so bad her skin started to peel off. Court documents we've uncovered raise questions about how probation officers were making sure Hardy was not a danger to another child.
13 News Now investigative reporter Laura Geller continues our investigation.
The more the people who loved Harley Ray Williams learn about what happened to the 2-year-old,
it's just sad, it's unfortunate,
the more they wonder how this could have happened. Testimony revealed in April the 2-year-old was scalded on almost half of her small body. Investigators allege Harley's mother, Shelby Love, and the mother's boyfriend, John Hardy, did not get the little girl medical care for 11 hours. Prosecutors say she could have survived if she had been treated earlier.
It's a lot. It's a lot because she had her whole life ahead of her. And it all could have been prevented. That's the thing that hurts the most, because she could have still been here.
The Commonwealth's attorney also explained John Tucker Hardy never should have been living in a home with the little girl. We've told you Hardy served time in prison for beating his own son and strangling his then-girlfriend in 2013. This major violation report shows shortly after he got out, his probation officer checked on him. Hardy was not living at the approved address and was staying in a home where 3 children also lived, something the probation office forbid. Instead of sending Hardy back to prison for the violation, a judge reaffirmed his probation through at least 2029.
We asked the Department of Corrections if probation officers were keeping a closer eye on Hardy, given he had lied in the past. Did they know he was living in a home with little Harley? A spokeswoman would not answer our questions.
We also sent a Freedom of Information request for all of Hardy's probation records, including the conditions he was under in April of this year when he allegedly killed Harley Ray. D.O.C. responded, "We have approximately 100 pages of probation records responsive to your request. However, they are exempt from mandatory disclosure." Virginia law allows the agency to exempt this kind of information, but it also gives the discretion to release it. We asked for the records in the interest of a deeper public understanding of the system, so those trying to cope with Harley's death could know what happened. D.O.C. is choosing to keep that secret.
That's all we want to know is what happened, why,
we just
how.
We want to know answer.
Laura Geller, 13 News Now.